So let me see. Let's get into this next one, man. So we're gonna talk about 28 years later. This is a highly anticipated sequel. Danny Boyle is back in the director's chair for this too, with the what he started with 28 days later. So in this film, it's been almost 3 decades since the rage virus escaped from a biological weapons laboratory. Still living in a ruthlessly enforced quarantine, some have found ways to exist amid the infected. One such group of survivors live on a small island connected to the mainland by a single, heavily defended causeway. When one of them decides to venture into the dark heart of the mainland, he soon discovers a mutation that has spread to not only the infected, but other survivors as well. And this film we got here starring, we got Jodie Comer, we also got Ralph Fiennes, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Edvin Reidling. So these are going to be our main people in this film. And I would say Chi Lewis Pari. He has a weird role here as the alpha. And what you think about this, Courtney?
I thought it was an interesting film. For some reason, I was thinking about like the series Bone, comic book Bone, when I was watching it, and this Bone's a little bit different than this, but everybody's set up like in the medieval times, somewhat like on this island. The people on this island don't have guns or anything. I thought that was they're doing bow and arrow type hunting and fighting. I had a lot of fun with it, but it's parts of it I kind of got weirded out on, especially the end. And the beginning of it was wow. That might be one of the best beginnings of a film I think I've seen in a long time. But I just suggest that people just pay attention to what's going on in the beginning and at the very end, because it's something that's connected that you kind of completely forget about. And if you weren't paying attention, you or late getting in the theater, you'll completely miss it. But overall, I like this film. The evolution of these zombies or rage zombies or whatever, I thought that was interesting because you have alphas, you have like some that are like just big and crawling, crawlers or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of interesting, the hierarchy on this, and also like Ray Fiennes' character is. I didn't know what we was going to expect with him, especially when he was mentioned at first. I just think that character's wild, but I did enjoy it. A lot of people hated the end, but I just think that ends wild.
I didn't hate it, man. All right, here's where I'm at, man. I'm probably on one that's I didn't like it a whole lot. Here's my problem with it. The beginning of this film is amazing, bro. Like this first half of this thing totally sucked me in. I love, it's weird, man, because we're looking at this thing 30 years later and all that. So basically a son and a father, they're kind of bonding over, the son's coming of age where it's time for him to start pitching in and maybe possibly start venturing out to help, track supplies and stuff like that. So he's teaching him how to handle himself and all that. So that early sequence was amazing, man. I was like, I thought this whole film was going to be like that, man. And then like, especially that causeway scene, dude. I'm like, man, that's one of the best things I've seen this year. Honestly,
That's intense.
it was, dude.
The movie could have went anywhere at that
Man,
point.
you can hear a pin drop, bro, and you know what I'm saying. And in my head, I'm thinking it's going to go one way, and it goes another. So after that intensity, we come to find out it becomes it kind of we got another reason to go into the zone. You know what I'm saying? And if there is some human drama in there that I thought was interesting that you can't ignore when you're making something like this, I think that's cool. But then some of the later on decisions, man, like by the time we did get to our end, I'm kind of just watching the watch, man. Like I do like what we got with the evolution of the zombies, the infected. Some crazy concepts, man. Are these zombies fucking? Like I don't know, because like that's kind of wild. And I guess that's probably that would be the explanation for that to happen. But then we get to Ralph Fiennes, and I'm like, man, he's really acting his ass off. But this character is just I don't know. I kind of expected more with this reveal, and maybe that's the thing too, because in the film, the locals kind of build him up for a certain in a certain way. So maybe that rubbed off to me. I'm absorbing some of their impression of him, and by the time I meet him, but I just feel like, man, for us to be this far away from this world, and it just wasn't a lot of meat there. You know what I'm saying? Overall, like there were some really great moments, but the meat of
I,
it, I'm just like, you really didn't justify visiting this world again for me, man. And the
it's
cliffhanger ending, it lets me know that there's definitely going to be another part coming out in January. But this definitely does feel like a maybe what would we call this, a stretch in a much greater story rather than a complete film here, and I don't know, man, like because I feel like Empire Strikes Back, is kind of a cliffhangery thing, but we got a lot of meat in that movie, man. That movie can stand on its own
yeah.
even with its cliffhanger ending, but I don't think this one achieved that. And then the wild ending, that was crazy, man, especially knowing what that reference was to that guy, the real life guy. It just totally, it came out of nowhere, man. We got this really serious hardcore horror film, this brooding, it's kind of, somber at times, and then all of a sudden you throw in this really wacky moment like out of nowhere. Like I know Boyle's got some wacky nuts under his belt. I mean, we got the dang train spotting films and other stuff, but it's like this was wild, really wild. I don't know.
All I can say is tracksuit. All I can say is tracksuit mafia, and I hate that it screamed at it in the theater.
Yeah, but see, like you said, it did wrap around to something that we saw in the very beginning. With the
Yeah,
that's in the
yeah,
trailer
yeah,
even,
yeah.
that when that guy's hanging upside down. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's not enough to keep me from totally writing this world off. I'm definitely gonna be there in January
And Neil
when the next
DaCosta
part comes.
is doing the second part. By the way,
Who is?
Neil DaCosta.
Oh, okay, okay. She's directing the
Yeah,
second
yeah, she's
part.
directing the second part.
Oh, that's cool though. This wasn't, I wasn't so down on this that I wouldn't check that out. But also, I don't know, bro. This is going to be one that comes out, and I'll probably won't watch it again. I'll probably just next thing I see from this world is going to be the sequel. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
unless I just watch that sequence again, once it hits home video, and I'll watch that bridge scene again, because that I'm telling you, man, that was that's about a good 10 minutes of craziness that I've some of the best that I've
man,
seen this year, bro.
that and the train scene
Hmm.
were two of the most intense things I think I've ever seen in a film.
Yeah, that train scene was wild though. It's wild. And see, man, and there's goofy stuff that wasn't adding up to me too later on. Like there's some exchanges, man, that I'm like, yo, something's supposed to happen here. Why does it not happen here? With the Jodie Comer standing on the top of the hill, yelling out, and these things are all over any other time.
Yeah,
Everybody's
yeah.
got to be whispering that there's like some inconsistencies and the bone pile. How you build that? And and then there's a point where the kid climbs up and he just it's like, yo, all right, we were bending rules, and maybe that's my brain nitpicking, but it makes sense why they don't have guns, because after 28 years, you probably shot all the rounds up, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not easy to make bullets and all this stuff in where you're at, especially with these kind of zombies, man. You're gonna have to set fires, you gotta smelt metal and all this crazy stuff. So
yeah,
it's gonna
yeah.
be hard to find time to do that and keep these things at bay. But yeah. So and getting the materials to manufacture and the chemicals. So that'll make sense. But maybe we'll get some more answers in the sequel to this, man. But
Yeah.
right now, people are loving it, man. I'm an outlier on this one too. But I do see a lot of people, man. Like maybe I haven't looked at the Rotten yet, man. So maybe there's been a update. But
I
yeah,
didn't
man.
hate it, but like I said, it's the
Yeah,
ending is real interesting. That's all I gotta say.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna probably be a little bit more indifferent to it because you know what I'm saying. Like I said, I definitely enjoyed the first half of this stuff. There's some brilliant stuff in this film. I just think that maybe that back end could have just used some tweaks, man. And like I said, maybe it'll pan out once we see the final results of this thing.
Yeah.